after devastating windstorm as Ondo State government promises to repair damaged schools. Akeredolu joins dignitaries to extol leadership qualities of President-elect Bola Tinubu at 71. NDDC to strengthen young entrepreneurs in Niger Delta region with innovative skills. And in sports, FIFA revokes hosting rights of Under-20 World Cup from Indonesia. Good evening and welcome to the news at 7. I am Akimumi Abojinde. Ondo State government says great attention will be given to the repair of schools damaged by rainstorm in Akure. Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Femi Agagu, gave the assurance during an assessment visit to the schools affected by the downpour. Osrc's Zahid Aribisala reports that facilities at Oyemekun Grammar School, Akure High School, as well as Community Education Resource Center were affected.
Akure High School, seeming like a shadow of itself. Perimeter fence of the schools destroyed, windows shattered, and roofs of classrooms and other buildings blown off. No thanks to rainstorm. From the core of its roots, this tree, which perhaps has been standing for many years, was pulled out by the storm that followed the rainfall.
From the top of the roof, even another tree fell on top of the roof of the administrative block. But glory be to God, no life was lost, in spite of the great damage.
It's a similar tale of destruction as a result of the rainstorm of the previous evening at Oyemekun Grammar School, Akure, where classrooms, hostel accommodation, and administrative buildings were damaged.
I was here till around 11 o'clock. 11 p.m. yesterday. We have to move the boys to another place. Even the coppers, about 36 of them, have to go to the town to look for accommodation for them. We have to rent mattresses and many other things like that. So we've located the coppers, we've relocated the students in the hostel. And I believe God will see us.
Worried by the distress report from the school administrators, Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Femi Agagu, led management members of the ministry for an on-the-spot assessment of the damages.
The damages very extensive, particularly in the high school. Almost all the fences have collapsed. Most of the roofs are blown off. We also at St. Peter's, also extensive damages there. Where we are now, you can see all that rainstorm has done.
Mr. Agagu promised the government will take adequate steps to remedy the situation.
We are not happy about it, but what to do now is not to start the money, it's to see how we can quickly remedy the situation. The government, the project people will take detailed account of the damages and they quickly advise us on what to do. If it happened yesterday night, we have already gone through 3 schools this morning. Then you know that we are responding very swiftly. And I can assure you that going forward we will also make sure that we expedite action and ensure that there is not too much discomfort to the process of learning and discourse. We do our best within the limits of the resources available.
The Continuous Education Resource Center of the Education Ministry was not spared by the storm which accompanied the downpour.
The Home Economics Unit spoiled, the Technological Department spoiled, the Laboratory for the 3 Sciences, Physics, Chemistry and Biology were being touched. You can see the roofing sheet being removed. Then the Osrc unit, where equipment were being fabricated, they were removed, carted away.
The total length is 35.2.
The project department of the Education Ministry has since swung into action to determine the extent of the damages, and expectations are that the schools will return to shape for qualitative education to continue. Sahira Aribisala, Osrc News.
Meanwhile, residents and business owners at Ayedun and high school areas in Akure, as well as Igoba, are counting their losses following the destruction wreaked by Tuesday's rainstorm. Osrc's Zahida Aribisala again reports that the roof of several houses were blown off, while many inhabitants who were rendered homeless are now looking up to government and well-meaning individuals for succor. Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu has described the president-elect Bola Tinubu as an inspirational figure and the most innovative person in the nation's political history. Akeredolu, while congratulating Tinubu on his 71st birthday, said the president-elect has demonstrated unwavering commitment to the service of the country. He said Asiwaju Tinubu's unfaltering determination and passion to achieve what he sets out to do is truly inspirational. The governor prayed to God for more wisdom, strength, knowledge, and sound health for Tinubu to continue serving humanity. And moving on to politics, the Ondo State Office of the Independent National Electoral Commission will tomorrow present certificates of return to House of Assembly members-elect. The head of voter education and publicity, Mrs. Olufunke Shegun Oshifeso, said the event is scheduled to hold at the Collation Center of the office in Akure by 11 a.m. INEC had declared them winners in the March 18 House of Assembly elections held across the state. Meanwhile, INEC has commenced presentation of certificates of return to governors-elect in 26 states, where winners had been declared following the conclusion of the March 18 elections. INEC National Commissioner Festus Okoye said the Electoral Act 2022 provides that the Commission is mandated to issue certificates of return within 14 days to every candidate who has been returned elected under the law. So far, the results of 26 of the 28 governorship elections have been announced, leaving the elections in Kebbi and Adamawa, which were declared inconclusive. Supplementary elections are to be held in both states on Saturday, April 15. The national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Iyocha Ayu, who stepped aside from his position, has expressed intention to fight his suspension by a Benue State High Court in Makurdi. Ayu's Special Assistant on Communication, Simon Imobo-Tswam, said his boss's decision followed the party's appointment of the Deputy National Chairman, Umar Damagum, as acting chairman. The Igorov Ward Executive Committee in Boko local government area of Benue State had suspended Ayu for alleged anti-party activities and for failing to pay his membership dues. In the aftermath of the suspension, the Benue State Court restrained Ayu from parading himself as the chairman of the party, following a suit filed by a former aide to the state governor, Conrad Utai. The Election Petitions Tribunal in Ondo State has confirmed that 9 petitions have so far been received following the February 25 National Assembly elections in the state. Secretary of the State Tribunal, Musa Adam, however, said the tribunal was yet to receive any petition on the House of Assembly election. Omorela Ngbeji reports.
Presidential and National Assembly elections were conducted in the country on February 25, while governorship and state houses of assembly were held on 18th March 2023. Those who do not agree with the outcome of the polls have approached the Election Petition Tribunal to seek redress. Here in Ondo State, Secretary of the Election Tribunal, Musa Adam, said aggrieved candidates and their parties have started submitting petitions.
We have received 9 petitions, 2 in respect of Senate, while 7 in respect of the House of Representatives. As regards the 18th March 2023 governorship and state houses of assembly elections, we are up to now yet to receive any petition. Yes, because they are still within their time.
He revealed that the candidates of the New Nigeria People's Party, NLPP, Mr. Olusegun Phillips Alunge, who contested in the Ondo North Senatorial District, filed a petition to challenge the election, which produced Olajide Inshagba of the ruling APC as winner. He added that the senatorial candidate of the Labour Party in Ondo Central also raised a petition against Adeniyi Adegbomire of APC, who was declared winner by INEC. Candidates who lost elections in Akoko Southeast, Akoko Southwest, Eseldo Ilaje, Okitipupa Irele, and Ondo East, Ondo West federal constituencies have also submitted their petitions.
Once the petition is filed, the parties against whom the petition is filed, particularly the candidates on whose return the petitioner is challenging, the party that sponsored the candidate, as well as mostly the INEC, are the respondents in virtually all the petitions. So they have to be served with the petitions first, and the law permits them a certain number of days in which to find their reply against the petition. So we are still on that process. We are not yet served all the parties. Some of them are out of the country in the first place, so we are yet to serve like 2 of them. But 7 we are able to serve them personally. So in regard to the 7 that were served, they are yet to find their reply because they are still within their time.
The secretary, however, said no petition has yet to be raised over the state assembly elections. According to the Electoral Act, candidates have 21 days from the day of the announcement of results to file their petition before the tribunal. Omoriola Ngweji, Osrc News.
The Federal High Court in Lagos has fixed April 20 to rule on an application seeking to vacate an interim order freezing 14 properties linked to Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello. Justice Nicholas Owebo fixed the date after taking submissions from the Governor's Council, Abdul Wahab Mohammed, and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission Council, Rotimi Oyedepo. The court had on February 22 made an interim forfeiture order following an ex parte motion to confiscate 14 properties and firms in Lagos, Abuja, and the United Arab Emirates, as well as 400 million naira recovered from one Aminu Falala. You're watching the news at 7 on Osrc Television. You can also watch us live on our website, www.osrc.ng, or follow us on Facebook, Osrc TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel, Osrc TV Ondo. The news continues shortly. Please stay with us. It's still the news at 7 on Osrc Television. Thank you for staying with us. Business owners have been encouraged not to neglect proper etiquette if they intend to thrive in the hospitality industry. This was emphasized at the 5th edition of the Peace Square Event Summit held in Akure, the Ondo State capital. Joy Pius reports that the event brought together stakeholders in the hospitality business.
The 5th edition of the Peace Square Event Summit held in Akure, the Ondo State capital, and attended by business owners from within and outside Ondo State. The summit was aimed at bringing together young entrepreneurs, event planners, caterers, decorators, photo and videographers, among others, particularly those in the hospitality industry, and exposing them to practicals needed towards improving business, making profits, and sustaining it. The convener of the summit and Chief Executive Officer, Peace Square Events, Mrs. Olayinka Michael, stated that the essence of the program was to mentor and assist young business owners interested in the event and hospitality industry to excel.
One thing I know in life is that it is not the money you make in life that makes you, it's the impact you have on people, the good impact, the positive impact. You might even have money, you don't know how to make use of it, what to do with it. But when you are exposed, you go out for conferences, you go out for seminars, that will give you more understanding of what you are doing, to put more and to be more.
Speaking on the theme of the program, the keynote speaker, Mrs. Olufumbi Akinyosoye, and the matron of the event, Bolatito Okolie, emphasized the need for business owners to learn and relearn, noting that it is one of the secrets of success in business.
Say that you are on profit, you want to go from profit to sustainability. Then the people that are your internal customers must first of all buy into your vision.
When you learn, you know how to go about your business. So learning, you don't have to stop learning. So my advice to them is to keep learning.
The event also featured a panel and training session where business owners engaged participants on business ethics and tips needed for a successful business career.
Hospitality is the relationship between the guest and the host. If you want to be a caterer, just have it at the back of your mind that you should be able to take in so much prayer.
You have to look at the environment you are shooting. Is there enough light? If there's not enough light, if you are shooting in the dark, people you want to see your products will not be able to see it. So the video is basically useless.
Participants appreciated the facilitator, stating that the event is an eye-opener.
It's mind-blowing for me because coming all the way from Lagos, I had some kind of expectations, but I got more than what I expected.
It's a super duper well-organized event. I must commend the convener. She has done so well.
The hospitality industry is one of the fastest growing businesses all over the world that generates billions of money and offers plenty of new careers and employment opportunities to people with various backgrounds, as well as revenue generation for the government. Joy Pius, OSRC News.
A former Inspector General of Police, Solomon Arase, has been sworn in as the new chairman of the Police Service Commission. The new PSC boss took the oath of office today at the Council Chambers in Abuja before commencement of the Federal Executive Council meeting, 2 months after the Senate confirmed him as chairman of the commission. Arase, who retired in 2016, having served in various capacities, including as head of the Criminal Intelligence and Investigation Bureau of the Nigerian Police, promised to prioritize the welfare of officers and men of the force. The National Health Insurance Authority has concluded arrangements to extend health insurance to pensioners in the country. The Executive Secretary of the Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate stressed that extending health insurance to pensioners was consistent with international best practices. According to him, the most effective care for aging persons was to give them access to affordable and quality health care. He noted that the Nigeria Police and the Department of State Services are already paying for healthcare coverage of their retirees, and that funding healthcare for pensioners was critical to institutionalizing the initiative. The Niger Delta Development Commission says it has developed a new concept of working with the Niger Delta Chamber of Commerce in training the youth and aspiring entrepreneurs in the region. NDDC Managing Director Samuel Ogbuko, at a Youth Interactive Forum in Port Harcourt, said the Commission will collaborate with the Niger Delta Chamber of Commerce to support small and medium enterprises in the region. Dr. Ogbuko said it is no longer acceptable that Niger Delta youths will be at home receiving stipends. Rather, it is considering setting up a Niger Delta Chamber of Commerce that will strengthen young entrepreneurs in the region. He expressed the hope that the youths will contribute to whatever plans the two bodies have for them. We now return to the story on the effect of the downpour in Akure on residents as well as businesses. The report from Zahid Aribisala says that residents and business owners at Ayedun and high school areas in Akure as well as Igoba are counting their losses following the destruction wreaked by Tuesday's rainstorm in Akure. It reports that the roof of several houses were blown off, while many inhabitants who were rendered homeless are now looking up to government and well-meaning individuals for succor.
It's daybreak, the morning after a rainfall accompanied by a devastating storm. In the Ayedun quarters of Akure metropolis, many houses are currently left with no roof. Electric poles, once supplying power to their homes, have been turned to unwanted barricades by the forces of nature, just as water tanks have been forcefully thrown off their hangers. The victims consist of both young and aged, with their properties and means of livelihood destroyed.
It is so devastating that almost half of the roof is gone, part of the wall is pulled down as a result of the storm. And it affects a lot of people in this community. For instance, you can see the pillar there is an overhead tank. The wind blew it off. And you can see other places.
In the high school area, the rain which came unannounced equally left in its trail sorrow, tears, and lamentations. Several business outlets are now ghosts of their hitherto bubbling status.
Around is people crying. So one government, under the leadership of our able government, our so caring governor, to please come to the aid of my people. They are so crying for help.
For inhabitants of Isokon Phase 1 Igoba community of Akure North Council area, it is time to tender an unanimous Save Our Souls appeal to concerned authorities. Residents also called on government to help dredge and channelize the waterway in the area to forestall future disaster.
Roofs were blown off. There were many other around these communities too that actually suffered the same fate yesterday. So this, as you can see, this is a very local community where people are not all that buoyant materially, financially, and those that are affected, they need urgent attention and assistance
from government and from well-to-do people in Nigeria.
Officials of Ondo State Emergency Management Agency were spotted at some of the disaster spots, taking stock of the extent of damage, recovered items and individuals involved.
We have so many buildings of this nature that they will brainstorm as a lay off the buildings. So that is why we are here, in order to take all the SWOT assessments.
Picking pieces of what is left in the rubble is now the preoccupation of residents of affected communities, even as they hope help will come their way very soon. Sahida Bisala, Osrc News.
Moving to the foreign scene, Afghan women are finding avenues to pursue their education as the Taliban continues to crack down on women's rights, recently banning female students from going to university. Since the Taliban took over in August 2021, women's rights in education have been suppressed for girls of all ages from secondary school to university. The Taliban's harsh interpretation of Islamic law has caused a wave of underground education, ranging from secret schools for girls within the country to women attending college secretly online. Akintunde Akinshemola has the details.
Kabul home, Sophia locks on to an online English class. The Taliban government has barred female students from high school and universities, but has not banned the internet. In fact, Taliban officials are regulars on social media. For Sophia's classmates, the start and the picture freezes. Frustrating and crippling slow internet provide more hurdles for her and other Afghan women. The 22-year-old says after years of following the Taliban, they used to persevering.
I want to continue my studies in online courses, and this is my dream, this is my goal, to finish my studying, whatever what happened in Afghanistan.
Miss Sophia, how are you?
Our online school, Rimi Academy, went from mostly about 50 female students to about 500 after the Taliban took over in 2021. It says it had to turn hundreds down. The Taliban still allowed online study, but Sophia's teacher, Sanaa, said there are always security concerns.
It's so obvious that if you want to do a crucial thing, if you want to take an action that is very important, you have to risk. And absolutely, we risked everything. Yes, it is risky for us.
A growing number of institutes are trying to reach girls and women digitally from their homes. 97% of Afghans are poor, so computers and Wi-Fi are out of reach for many. But Sophia believes it's impossible for Afghan women to be kept at home indefinitely.
After every sunset, there is sunshine, there is a day. So this is why we must be hopeful and we don't lose our belief, our hopes, and we must be strong in that situation.
Online universities will continue to offer Afghan women a glimmer of hope and opportunity to pursue their career. Akintunde Akinshemola for Osrc News.
Moving on to sports, Sunshine Stars Football Club and Doma United have shared the spoils at the Ondo State Sports Complex in Akure after a 1-1 draw in a match day 11 tie of the Nigeria Premier Football League. Yusuf Ibrahim scored the first goal for Sunshine Stars with a square ball play in the 13th minute before Doma United equalized almost immediately. FIFA has revoked the hosting rights of this year's Under-20 World Cup from Indonesia. This followed a meeting between FIFA President Gianni Infantino and President of the Football Association of Indonesia, Erick Thohir. The new host is expected to be announced as soon as possible, with the dates of the tournament currently remaining unchanged. And now to end the news at 7, another look at the major stories. Residents and business owners in some communities in Akure are counting their losses following the destruction wreaked by Tuesday's rainstorm. Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu has joined dignitaries in extolling the leadership qualities of President-elect Bola Tinubu at 71. Niger Delta Development Commission has developed a new concept of training the youth and aspiring entrepreneurs in the Niger Delta region. FIFA has revoked the hosting rights of the Under-20 World Cup from Indonesia. That's it on the news at 7. Thank you for being a part of it.